Yesterday, Donald Trump gave Putin 50 days to stop the war, or at least come to the table. And there was a really big thing that happened is when Trump talked to the press in the White House.
I go home, I tell the First Lady, I spoke to Vladimir today. We had a wonderful conversation. She said, oh, really? Another city was just hit. So it's like, look. I go home, I tell the First Lady, I spoke.
And not just that, but also
Who's coming?
I speak to him a lot about getting this thing done. And I always hang up and say, well, that was a nice phone call. And then missiles are launched into Kiev or some other city. And I said, it's strange. And after that happens 3 or 4 times, you say, the talk doesn't mean anything.
I know that Trump nowadays has a big thing and he is being pushed, especially in the Congress with the Epstein files. And there was a vote about the release of them. The same thing is happening with Putin, but it's a different country, especially after Kremlin's headsman used government jet to fly his girlfriend. I really believe though that Donald Trump is a man that he really wanted to end the war. I know many don't believe that, but that's my personal opinion. I can't know what he thinks in his mind. And he gave 50 days to Putin to change his mind. I know that many people believe that 50 days are way too much for Ukraine and how they will survive those days. But let me remind you that 50 days for Trump might be 48 hours, 72 hours, or the end of the week. And his plan of attack will be tariffs in Russia and the support of Ukraine's military. From what I understand from this video is like that Trump is in a position to make a decision that he really doesn't want to make. In the beginning of his administration this year, he thought that he could talk to Putin, but in the mind of Putin, it's one thing and one thing only: to rebuild the Soviet Union. And the only way to do that is with war. Russia is not the big country that everyone thinks. Annual GDP in Russia is around the same of Italy's. So for this big country, Russia doesn't have much money. So we talk about a race against time. Who will survive? The small country of Ukraine or the economy of Russia? I remember I read a book of Angela Merkel. Yes, not a very favorable politician in Europe, but one of the key people in European Union and Germany. When she was talking with Putin a long time ago, she said that they talked about the big disasters of 20th century. Putin said that the biggest disaster in 20th century was the destruction of Soviet Union. But of course for Merkel it was the Nazi Germany and the World War II. And I totally agree with her. So that shows If that story is true, that shows us that Putin's goals are pretty clear now. He needs to stop the war. If you are in this video, I will put a link of a channel of, I'm sorry for the pronunciation, Kaulan Robertson. He's a very good journalist and he lives in Ukraine. Take a look at his channel and what he says about the war between Ukraine and Russia.
Be better.